Good morning, everyone, and happy 2025 of camping. This week, I am doing a little adventure series, and I made it out to East Otto. This is a DEC campground. I've never stayed here before. I drove out here one time to check out the sites, and it's basically just a couple long roads with these sites that are really close to the street, and they have a rock blocking in, so you can't go too deep into these campsites. But they're nice. They're pretty wide open and nice big fire pit. Somebody's been having some fire with. Nice big area there. So while I'm here, I'm gonna just hang out here for a little bit and yeah, check this out. This is actually a really good spot for a tent. I'm on site number 6. And this is a nice flat spot. You can see the cars over here. And I just did a makeshift setup just to keep the bikes dry last night. I got here late and it was just starting to rain, so I just threw something over the bike so they didn't get soaked and the seats didn't get wet. So I'm gonna take a quick walk through here and show you guys what they did as far as improvements since I was here last. And really, I don't plan on staying here very long. There's a place close by, Zor Valley. If you're into hiking, and it's a valley where you walk along a nice creek, and there's a cool little spot to hang out in where the kids all used to gather and swim and jump off this rock area. So that was long in my past, but if you're adventuresome, it's a really nice place to check out. So here's the quick setup that I came up with. Was really just, I found one of these awnings that works really well. Pops up super easy and quick, but I wanted something that was completely waterproof, so I just put a tarp over it for now. It's pretty makeshift, but I'm going to find tarps that fit it perfectly and drape over, come up with some better systems than just bungee cords hanging across like this. And hopefully by the end of the weekend, everyone will get to see what I come up with. And as you can see, I got 2 bikes. So I have the e-bike and a regular bike, my Giant. And that's a nice bike for going off-road. It has a nice real low gear system. And here we are at the car. Got the old X-Cargo up top, which I showed that in one other video. And yeah, let's take a walk this way. So there's a site, almost if you can see the curve. Zoom in a little bit. There's that curve right there. There's a site right there on the left-hand side. That's how far away they are to the next one. So the nice thing about this place definitely is the fact that everyone's very spread out. This direction, I went down last night just to check to see how many different campsites were available on the right-hand side. The trail cuts off to the right here. And one of the things that I thought was interesting, shows that they're actually putting money into this place, is this corner that I'm walking up on used to be a campsite. And I think I came here had to be 2 years ago. And this definitely was not here yet. And they actually put a bathroom here for everybody. It's pretty primitive as far as no running water. And I'm not going to get into the details, but it is a nice thing to have, because luckily I'm the first person next to these folks on the right that was able to use it today. So I'm guessing this is going to be some type of information board. They haven't finished it yet. This must be quite new. They got a recycling and garbage trash bin. And it looks like it's wood, but it's actually all concrete. The locking door. You did a nice job. Here's a trash bin. It's recycling. It's nice to see that they really put this out here, because hopefully the people adhere to it and keep the place clean. Well, I just had a nice conversation with some of the other campers here. They filled me in on some of the latest updates here at the park. This is campsite number 8, which actually is the last one in this line. There's a turnaround down there, and DC has done a nice job of fixing these driveways up. I could easily pull my camper back into this one, so this wouldn't be too bad. And the only thing is they put these rocks at the end of every one so that you can't go too deep, but it's a mess anyway. You wouldn't want to drive past there anyway. So this is actually a nice site. Nicer than the one I picked last night for sure. A little muddier on the fire pit, but this is cool. So here's the fire pit. It's a little wider site than I picked yesterday. I wouldn't even mind moving to this one. It's a shame that they're not a little bit. My friend Todd was here. He'd be here with his weed whacker cleaning this whole thing up. Shout out to you, Todd. It's a nice site though. This is cool. There's a, oh wow. You walk into the woods. There's some type of trail here into the woods. I don't know if it goes very far, but maybe this is just, you know, an extra fire pit if you want that in the woods feel. You could set your tent up here. There's obviously some people have been setting up their tent on this spot. Goes down a little hill here, so that really doesn't go to anywhere, but here's another spot for a tent probably. This is cool. So I think if I ever come back here, this would be one that I would definitely focus on grabbing. I must have drove right by it. No, someone was here last night. Someone had to have taken this spot. Otherwise, I would have investigated. Site number 8. So here's this week method of making my coffee, and it worked fabulous. Took a little time on the fire, but it's one of these Grosh coffee makers, and basically you put the coffee in here. The water goes into this right up to that line. You want to keep it underneath that line right there. Get it back in focus. So you want the water to be under that line. This goes in with the coffee. This screws back on. And within about 10-15 minutes, depending on the heat, you have your morning brew. So I unexpectedly made some new friends down the way, and was invited to breakfast. So I'm going to hang out with them for a little bit, and one of them is a coffee drinker. So I'm going to set him up, and they also subscribed, so welcome and surprise that I'm making this video. I'm not going to tell them that I'm making a video while I'm here. And going to head back down there, set them up with some coffee, and then probably come back and pack up and move on to the next place. So I am back at the car. I'm going to take down this makeshift shelter that I have here, finish packing up, and head on to the next place. I just had breakfast with my neighbors down the way. I want to thank them again. And I'm going to head on to possibly Little Rock City. We'll see where the Rolling Thunder Pathfinder takes us. Okay, I'm all loaded up and got everything back in the car. I'm going to take a little walk around and check out some of the other sites. It's been a long time, a couple of years since I was here before. I barely remember what they look like. Okay, so it's 1:30 in the afternoon. Taking my time, getting my afternoon hiking. Maybe I'll do some biking at one of the other places. We'll see where this adventure ends up. Might even stop in at Allegany while I'm out this way. Here's the restroom area. And it used to be one of the best campsites here. So I think what it brings to everybody as far as the convenience of a bathroom supersedes what a cool site it was. It really was pretty awesome. One of the best ones here. So I'm just going to head down this way, check out some of the other sites, see which one might be good to try out the next time. So here I am a little ways down this hill, heading towards the other campsites. And there's this road that cuts off to the right, which I checked out earlier. And that basically goes down to a little turnaround where you are not supposed to have fires, you're not supposed to camp, but apparently people go down there to shoot their guns. There is a campsite apparently in the woods that you can park there, but you have to hike up into the woods to get there. And from what I understand, it's a pretty good hike, but have to see if I can do a little more research on that one. If you're into the more primitive, real primitive style camping where you're out in the middle of just the woods and not even close to the road. Okay, I'm about a half mile down and came across this little spot. I'm guessing this is a campsite. No, actually, this isn't a campsite. You carry in, carry out. I think this is just a trailhead that heads down. Maybe it's a campsite in the woods. I'm not going to go down there right now. Maybe we'll check that out on the way back. But maybe that's what that is. Actually, that kind of makes sense. It's not marked with a number, though. I'll have to take a walk down there and check it out. Okay, let's go check this out. I don't really have the greatest footwear on for this, so I'm going to take it easy. But something tells me, obviously, that there's a campsite down here at the bottom of this hill somewhere. Might as well go check it out. So when you say primitive camping, this is more primitive style camping where you actually have to, pack it in a little bit, carry stuff down a hill or two, which is definitely the case here. You got to carry all your gear, your tents, your basics. Something tells me we're going to come to a spot. We're going to come to a spot that's going to have a fire pit and probably some areas to set up your tent. Very quiet and peaceful back here. Holy smokes. In the distance I can hear a machine running. I don't know if it's a sawmill, but there's something far in the distance. I don't know if you can hear it on the video. And look, here we go. Just as expected. Look at this. This is cool. Do. Oh, yeah. All right. So primitive camping here. I don't even know if there's a number. I'm going to see if there's a number of this one. But this is cool. This is really cool. There's the trail I just came from. Doesn't look like anybody's been here in a while. And there's just a big ravine off the backside. Super peaceful spot, I'll say that. Really cool. Now I'm looking around This seems like this is a spot where somebody put their tent before. It really is probably, it's not too far from the fire. And someone obviously put their tent here, but it's really just a muddy spot. I would say if you come here, bring yourself a tarp, because a lot of these campsites at this place, I noticed, are just have a tendency to be wet. So bring yourself a good base tarp to put under your tent, so it'll keep the moisture out while you're sleeping. And there is the smoke from Site 10. So obviously the site that I went to in the woods a minute ago was Site 9. Site 10 is cool. It has a parking lot at the bottom, and then you sit up high above. You have to cart all your stuff up a little bit of a hill, but everything's right there. But you have a nice overlook of the road and everything passing by. Here's 11. Now, I look at everything. How would it be for me to bring my trailer to some of these places? And this would not be ideal, because even though it's a nice long driveway, it doesn't, I don't know if it has enough. Maybe. I suppose if the tires were lined up here and I had it set up right with some shims, maybe I could get the trailer here. I just don't know. Anything on these big inclines. So this one, same thing. You park down there and make your way into the woods. I think I remember this one from the last time. I like this one. It does open up nice. Somebody's nice enough to leave some wood for the next people. That's always a good thing. So bring your weed whacker. If weeds drive you crazy, you can just clean up this area a little bit, help out a little bit. That's the only thing these are really lacking. It'd be a little bit of attention, but it's hard to come back here with a lawnmower, which is way more efficient. But here's number 11. What is this? And here's the pond that was mentioned earlier by someone. This is a really cool little area. There's someone down there. I'm not going to turn to the right yet and film them, but cool little pond. I don't know how the fishing is, but you never know. Now I'm not quite sure what the story with this trail is, but you better have a four-wheel drive vehicle if you go through that mud puddle, because that is a big one. So here's up above the pond area is this trail. So there's no marker, but I have a feeling that might be another campsite. And here we are at the end of the line for campsites. And this is number 12, and it's down the hill here. I'm not going to go down there. It's pretty muddy. I'm sure it's bugs like crazy, but it's nice. It's got a little, you can almost see the 12 right there. Same thing, more primitive style camping. All you have to do is walk through this little area here. Little area to park up top, off the road. And there's a turnaround right down there. So, primitive site camping. And here's the turnaround, nice and wide. At the end of the turnaround, these two trails, which I'm guessing go to more primitive sites. So I'll try to put something in the bottom here about their numbers or any information. But no doubt these lead to other primitive sites. Maybe I'll take this low road and just see what happens. But oddly here, there's no signs for no camping and no fires up here, although nobody's built a fire here. Maybe they're just sticking to the rules. Got a horsefly trying to get me. I will say the DEC did a nice job of regrading all this because it's clearly all regraded. So everyone should appreciate that, getting rid of a lot of these big potholes and investing in the area. That being said, let's take a quick walk this way. It's really wet, so I don't want to go too crazy. Gushy gush. We'll see if maybe this campsite is right here off the trail. No, not the case. So it just leads down, and it could go for a while. I'm not wearing the right footwear, but I'm guessing there's a couple more primitive sites down this way. Okay, we're heading back. So I'm somewhat heading back downhill here. And one other thing I will say about these East Otto campsites is they're adequately spread apart. So you can play a little music and talking and enjoy each other without upsetting the people next to you. And this loop in particular, or trail in particular, is very spread out. So depending on what type of camping you like, the one up top seems to be a little bit more populated. This one seems to be very much more spread out. The sites are pretty unique as well. Today's lunch is peanut butter and honey, and I will say it is an amazing source of energy, and it's delicious. Well, as you can see, here I am. I made it to Little Rock City, and it's actually right behind me over there. I found a nice shelter and started setting up already. Flip this around here. It's a little muddy on the way in, as could be expected. It rained like crazy last night, but I didn't get the shelter that I wanted, which was in one of my other videos. And if you can kind of see through the woods over there, it's right there. and then it's occupied. But this is a good site, and just so anybody can see it. Here's the ideal spot for your tent. And once again, I would bring a tarp. Ooh, almost slipped. Because it's muddy. So put a tarp down first. And it'll keep the moisture away when you're sleeping on the ground. A nice little fire pit. And some trails that lead off to the back. Some ideas to set up my little tarp system that I have here with this frame. And just give me a little bit of privacy from the road, which is a little closer than I normally like to be. And that one really sits off in the woods, but the trade-off is that you have to carry all this stuff back there. So I'm going to take the good with the bad and get set up. So here's my privacy enclosure, and I'm trying not to talk too loud because the people next to me are going to think, who is this guy talking to? But this is what I came up with. I took this framing, and I already had this netting from Harbor Freight, these tarps from Harbor Freight. This is an 8x10 on this side, and then the one that goes from this end over the top and covers the entire top. And to this side is an 8x12. Oh, it's a 10x12, I'm sorry. And it drapes down right to there, about 3 feet. So it gives you a little extra privacy and blockage from the sun on one side when you use the 10x12. I left one side open, a nice side out here to the woods and to where the fire is going to be. There we go. I was given this frame because the top was lost, and someone thought I could come up with something for it for camping. So here's this. Doesn't look too trashy, like tarps sometimes can. There's just a little bit of privacy on this side. Got my neighbors over there, so. And then the street's this way. So, yeah, it should be pretty good. Now the next thing to do is get some firewood so I can have at least a little bit of a fire tonight. So unlike other videos, I'm actually just laying here relaxing today. Listening to the birds chirping, sounds of the woods. It's another time I'm here at Little Rock City and my ankle's acting up. So I'm just taking it easy and hopefully it'll feel better tomorrow. And I'm actually going to go explore some areas that I never showed on other videos before. The last time I was here with a friend, and she didn't really want to be shown on video, and I didn't really want to take time to shoot a lot of footage while she was with me. I'd rather just walk through and enjoy the loop that we walked through. So hopefully tomorrow the weather will be nice, and we'll pick up tomorrow. It's about 8:30 right now, just starting to get darker out. Can't really tell, but yeah. Good morning, everyone. It's another overcast morning here in Little Rock City. Last night was a quiet night. I didn't end up having a fire because it was just too wet. But the folks next door were rocking and rolling until pretty late. I actually fell asleep on my cot until dark. I was just watching a movie. So I think I woke up around 10 o'clock. Made my way over to the car where I got a bed set up in there. And I think the next thing I'm going to do is take everybody for a quick walk around the loop that I've yet to film for everyone and put a video of. And make sure it's just real brief. My ankle's feeling a little bit better this morning. Usually after a little bit of rest, it always does. So from my site here, going this way, there's one more site down, which is the one I showed in my previous video. I took a walk back there. So if you head down this way, it'll take you to the loop, and we'll pick up there. Once you're in this back corner, you'll come to the trailhead for this loop. I'm going to take a quick walk through, see what kind of condition these trails are in. Pretty gushy. There's a couple areas that I wanted to show. They had some really interesting rock formations. So as you're coming through this trail, you can see there is the last campsite, which is a little bit of a way you got to bring your equipment in and park in the parking lot itself. Which, parking in a parking lot when you're camping isn't so bad, I guess, when you get to go to a spot like that. And you immediately start seeing the rock formations even on this trail. I actually never saw this part. Might as well take a quick look. No, I take that back. I think I did come through here before. Okay, we'll pick this up in a minute. And off the trail, all of a sudden it just leads you right into the Rock City again. This is a new experience for me. It's early morning. There's nobody here. There's a little bit of a mist in the air. It's kind of cool. But this is the first thing you see when you start coming in from this end. It's pretty amazing. Unique, without a doubt. As I'm walking through here, I'm just thinking to myself, I can't believe they haven't filmed a movie here yet. It's the perfect place. They could probably make some type of dinosaur movie down here for kids. That would be awesome, just with the setting. As you're walking along this white labeled path, you'll come to this area here, which dead ends. It has a super tight, currently wet channel to go through there, and I missed it, but this is the one that you gotta go through next, and this one's tight. Look at this. It's literally 4 feet wide. And I missed this area on the other videos. I thought it was one of the, ooh, squish. I thought it was one of the coolest areas here. So you basically just have to keep on following these white labeled trail markers. So now we're back to a more familiar area. Pretty sure this was in one of the other videos. And I'm going to wrap this part of it up. But I will say, if you do take this trail, I think I recommend doing it in the opposite way that I did it. We did it the last time. It was easier to figure out the direction you're going in. Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there. Today's the last day here at Little Rock. I just spent one night. I'm going to move on to the next place, which I'll leave as a surprise. But I think I'll try to go somewhere new since I have this small rig and don't have the trailer with me. Started preparing for a fire last night, like I do in most of my videos, and it's just too darn wet. I didn't feel like fighting with it. I didn't really have enough wood to make a go of it in the short period of time that I was collecting yesterday. These woods are pretty picked through. So, and it was soaked. The woods were soaked. So it must have rained. I know the night before it rained, I think 8 hours. So, a little different vibe in this video, but we're going to move on to another place and see how things go. These are some big hills through here. Wish I had their energy. So as you can see, these are seasonal limited use highways, and there's no maintenance from November until May 1st. And the reason for that is because they are very rough roads. And I'm pretty amazed people drive through here. This area is really a lot better than it was, and I think they've done some grading this year, so kudos to everybody who's been taking better care of these roads. But people fly through these things, so the mechanical shops must love these back roads. Well, I was on my way out of Rock City, and I decided to take a stop at my favorite place, Camp Seneca. And there's actually nobody here at my favorite spot. But what my favorite thing not is there's a crying baby over there. So I'm not staying. I'm going to go somewhere where it's more quiet. Just thought I'd stop here for a minute, reminisce, and head on to the next destination. So I guess we're going to have to see where we end up next. These are some of the day use shelters that they have here at Chautauqua Gorge. And that way is a huge drop. That way is a huge drop. And that way is a huge drop. And we have, oh yes, success.